Shalom Aleichem, Mishpachim. I am coming to you with a continuation of a Sefer, Duties of the Heart, Chovos Halevavos, and the author is Rabbi Bachya ibn Pekuda. We're in chapter 10. All right, let us begin. An explanation of the divine attributes, those grasped by the mind, and those written in Scripture, which are used to describe the Creator, may He be exalted. The meanings of the divine attributes are very many, just as the creatures and the kindnesses bestowed upon them are many. They can be divided into two classes, attributes of essence and attributes of action. The divine attributes of essence. The reason we call the first class attributes of essence is that they are abiding attributes of God. May He be exalted. They were His before the existence of all created things, and they are His afterwards. They are befitting of the existent. They are befitting of the essence of His glory. These attributes are three: that He exists, that He is one, and that He is eternal, unpreceded. The reason we describe Him with these attributes is to convey some conception of Him and of the true nature of His existence, to call attention to His glory, and to help men understand that they have a Creator whom they are obligated to serve. We find it necessary to describe Him as existing, since all evidence points to His existence. And signs of His handiwork in the universe testify to this, as it says, "Lift up your eyes on high and see, who created these? He who brings out their host by number. He calls them all by name. By His great might and strong power, not one is missing." Yeshayahu, chapter 40, verse 26. We must therefore attribute to Him existence, as it is clear to our minds that no action or work will issue from that which does not exist. Since His works and creations are evident, His existence is evident to our minds. We describe Him as eternal, for all arguments led to the conclusion that this world had a beginning before which there was no other beginning, a first cause before which there was no other cause. It became clear that there cannot be an infinite series of causes extending back. It follows necessarily that the Creator, may He be exalted, is the beginning before which there is no beginning. That is what is meant by His eternity. As it is said, from eternity to eternity you are God, Tehillim 90. Before me no God was formed, nor will there be after me. Why we describe Him as one has already been explained in exhaustive fashion through solid arguments. It was proven by incontrovertible evidence that the notion of absolute oneness is bound to the essence of His glory. The meaning of this oneness is the inapplicability of plurality to the essence of His glory and the exclusion of change, metamorphosis, accident, creation and destruction, combination and separation, resemblance, association, transformation, and all other types of multiplicity from the true essence of His glory. Ascribing attributes to God. It is vital that you understand that the meaning of these attributes which we ascribe to God is not to predicate of the Creator's essence, change, and diversity. Rather, the meaning is to deem their opposites, the opposites of the three attributes of essence, inapplicable to Him. May He be exalted. What we have in mind by their attribution is that the Creator of the world, may He be exalted, is neither plural, nor non-existent, nor created. Each of the attributes implies the other two. It is also important for you to know that each one of the three attributes which we have mentioned, when carefully analyzed, necessarily implies the other two. This will now be demonstrated. When absolute oneness is inseparable from and demonstrated in something, it must necessarily be existing and eternal. It must be existing, for it has been demonstrated that what is non-existent cannot be described as one or as many. Consequently, when absolute oneness pertains to and is demonstrated in something, it follows that the attribute of existence and its import pertain to it. It must also be eternal, for that which is absolutely one neither comes into existence nor passes out of existence, neither changes nor is transformed. Consequently, it must be eternal, since it has no beginning. Hence, when absolute oneness has been demonstrated in something, existence and eternity have been demonstrated in it as well. So too we say that when the attribute of perpetual existence pertains to something, the attributes of absolute oneness and eternity also pertain to it. The attribute of oneness is necessarily implied, for that which has perpetual existence could not have come into existence after non-existence. It changes neither from existence to non-existence nor from non-existence to existence. Whatever has this attribute cannot be multiple, for the multiple could not have existed perpetually, permanently, and incessantly, since it is preceded by the one. Anything that exists perpetually is not multiple, consequently it is one. The attribute of eternity is also necessarily implied, for that which has perpetual existence has neither beginning nor end. Consequently, the notion of eternity is, of necessity, inseparable from it. So too, we say that when the attribute of eternity pertains to something, the attributes of absolute oneness and perpetual existence are also implied. The attribute of absolute oneness is implied. For what exists perpetually is what has no beginning, and what has no beginning is not plural, for whatever is plural has a beginning. It is rather the one. Consequently, that which is plural cannot be eternal. The eternal cannot be other than one. Thus, the attribute of oneness is implied by the attribute of eternity. The attribute of existence is also implied by the attribute of eternity, for the non-existent cannot be described as either eternal or created. We have now seen that these three attributes are one in meaning and significance. They do not imply any change in the essence of the glory of the Creator, may he be exalted, nor the attachment of any accidental properties to him, nor any plurality in his essence. For the notion we are to understand by them is that the Creator, may he be exalted, is neither non-existent, nor created, nor plural. If it were possible to express this conception of him in a single word, embracing all three attributes at once, so that one word would convey to our minds that we have conveyed in three, then we would do so, since we could not find in the languages known to us any one word which by itself conveys a true conception of the Creator, may he be exalted. We have expressed this one concept in more than one word. The plurality that exists in the attributes of the Creator, may he be exalted, derives not from the essence of his glory, but from the inability of man to give full expression to the concept of God in one word. Their opposites are not applicable. What you must understand in regard to the Creator is that nothing is like him. When you ascribe attributes to the Creator, you should understand only that their opposites are inapplicable to him. As Aristotle said, the negative attributes of God are truer than the positive ones. For all positive attributes ascribed to the essence of his glory cannot escape the characteristics of substantial or accidental properties, and the Creator of substance and accident is not subject to their properties. The negative attributes ascribed to God, however, are undoubtedly true and befitting of him, for he is above all quality and description, resemblance, or comparison. What you must therefore understand from the three attributes of which we have spoken is the inapplicability of their opposites to the Creator. May he be exalted. The divine attribute of action. The divine attributes of action are those that are ascribed to the Creator as a result of his actions. It is possible that in attributing these qualities to him, he is made an associate of some of his creatures, to whom they are also attributed. Nevertheless, we are permitted to ascribe these qualities to him, because of our urgent need to know him and recognize his existence, so that we may assume his service. We find extensive use of this kind of divine attribute in the Torah and the books of the prophets, as well as in the praises offered by the prophets and the pious. Such attributes are used in two ways. 1. Attributes are ascribed which indicate image and bodily form, as in the following examples from Scripture. And God created man in his image. In the image of God he created him. Bereshit, chapter 1, verse 27. For in God's image did he make man. By the mouth of God, my hands alone stretched out the heavens. In God's ears, and under his feet, O arm of God, who has not sworn falsely by my name. In the eyes of God, and God said in his heart, And there are other similar attributes of bodily organs to God. Number 2, attributes are ascribed to God which indicate movements and bodily actions, as it says. God smelled the pleasing fragrance. God saw, regretted, and he was saddened at heart. God came down. God remembered. God heard. Then God awoke as one that had slept. And there are many other similar attributions to him of human actions. Interpretation of these attributions. Our early masters, however, in commenting on the Holy Scriptures, explained these attributions in as subtle a fashion as possible and interpreted them in a way that is reverential, by ascribing them to the glory of the Creator. May he be exalted. For example, and suddenly God was standing over him, in Bereshit chapter 28, verse 13, is rendered in the Targum. The glory of God was stationed over him. God saw, is rendered. It was revealed before God. God came down, is rendered. The glory of God was revealed. Then God went up from him, is rendered. The glory of God departed from him. They explained these attributions in a reverential manner and denied their literal application to the Creator. May he be exalted, so that no corporeality or accidental property be ascribed to him. Our master, the great Saadia Gaon, of blessed memory, has elucidated this matter at length in his work Emunos ve Deos, and in his commentary to Sidra Bereshit, Sidra Va'era, and Sidra Yetzirah, Sefer Yetzirah. What he writes is sufficient, so there is no need for us to repeat his explanations in this book.